In this lesson, we'll discuss shot continuity. Now, continuity is all about making sure that things are consistent from scene to scene, meaning we wouldn't want a car on 3 wheels in one scene and in the following scene have that same car on 4 wheels, because that just wouldn't make sense and the illusion would break. Now, a lot of times in film, a script supervisor would pay attention to issues like that, but as animators, we always want to be our own script supervisors and make sure that we can avoid those type of issues. So that's one example of shot continuity. Another is when dealing with a two-person dialogue. Now, with these type of dialogues, we're given an invisible line. Imagine an invisible line drawn from one character to the next. If we plan on doing a camera cut from one character to the next, we want to make sure that we do not cross over that line. Otherwise, the characters will appear to be in the same position or standing in the same spot. To give an example of this, let's go ahead and create a free camera. And I'll rotate this up with angle snap turned on 90 degrees. Okay, so from here we can go ahead and create a pivot control. So I'll just use a point helper again. And I'll Shift A, quick snap this to the camera, and then go ahead and link the camera back to the helper. Okay, let's say we go ahead and work on our framing here. I'll head over to Views, Viewport Configuration, again choosing the 2-panel layout, choose OK. And on the left side, we'll go ahead and make this our shot camera. Okay, so the next step, again, is just to frame this up a little bit better. I'll go ahead and turn on Save Frames on the shot camera and take the helper and move that closer to the scientist. Okay, so there is our first shot. I'll go ahead and go to Key Filters, make sure that we can key position and rotation. I'll turn on Auto Key and set the initial key on frame 0. Alright, so let's go ahead and cross the plane now and frame the camera up on the green guy. So I'll go to frame 1, move the camera across the line, go ahead and rotate the helper until the camera is pointing at the next character, and just do some quick framing moves to make sure that the character is going to be framed up right. Okay, so notice this now. If we were to go ahead and move over to frame 0 and then back to frame 1, notice how it appears as if the two characters are standing in the same spot because we've crossed over that plane. So this is exactly why we don't want to do that. It's going to confuse the audience. Now let's go ahead and correct this problem. So what I'll do here, and I'll get rid of a lot of these frames, I'll just hold down Control Alt and right mouse button, click and drag. So we can get in really close and make our end frame frame 25. Alright, let's say we go ahead and take this key on frame 0, and let's go ahead and bring that to frame 2. So I'll hold down Shift and drag to frame 2. And now we'll go to frame 3 and just go ahead and rotate the helper to face the next character in this dialogue. I'll kind of move this a little bit closer and move it down so he's framed a little bit better. Alright, now notice this. If we were to go ahead and scrub from frames 2 to 3, now we could see that this camera cut is very clear. We know that both characters are standing in a different spot, making the shot more understandable. Alright, so we have two examples here. One where breaking the plane causes a problem, and then one where staying on the same side of that invisible line corrects the problem we had previously. So make sure you don't cross over that plane. An exception to crossing over the plane is animating the camera across the plane. because as we do that, we can see very clearly what's happening. But that's the only exception to this. If you are working on camera cuts, make sure that invisible line is not crossed over.